This is one awesome 1960s Standel Studio XV amplifier, but the reverb has a loose connection somewhere, and even if I get that to work, the reverb's really weak. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on inside this thing and get that reverb repaired up. So here are the new wires to the reverb unit. I made them long enough so that they could snake around the inside of the box, around the side, up here, and then to where they need to go in the amplifier. So we're going to just staple those in place pretty much. Nice looking cables, so hopefully they'll last a long time. Okay, I'm seeing signal here. And here means this cable, which goes back to the amp chassis, and that is the one that goes on the input side of the reverb. And I know I've got output because if I tap on the reverb thing like this, I can hear some funny sounds coming out of this little speaker I've got set up. Here we go again. So I know I've got signal going out of the reverb tank. So I'm guessing what's going on here is this jack, which is super old and probably been beat up inside, is not contacting the center pin of this plug that's going into it. So what I'm going to do then is take this reverb unit out and try to bend the inside of that jack a bit more, so hopefully it'll contact correctly. And hopefully that'll fix the problem. So here is the inside of the reverb tank. This is a 2-spring reverb. It's got a spring with a tight coil and a spring with a looser coil in it. And this is the send side, so there's a small coil here that activates and moves these 2 springs by magnetic forces. The sound propagates down the 2 springs to the other side where it's picked up by a receiving coil. And this whole assembly here is on an aluminum bracket that's got springs on it just to dampen extra resonances caused by the guitar box itself. So up in here in the jack is the part that I want to tighten a bit so that it grabs onto the center contact of the RCA cable. And there's my needle nose pliers right there. Just need to squish that thing a little bit, just to tighten it up a hair. And these things are not spring steel or anything, so these old ones, so they do get loose, and you may have to pinch these from time to time if you plug the jacks in and out a lot, which you don't. Hopefully you don't need to do that much. But I've been unplugging these and plugging them back in a couple times trying to fix this amp, so let's see if this feels tighter. Oh yeah, it feels much better now. Great. Alright, so I'm going to snuggle those up and go ahead and put this whole thing back together again. So something in the reverb circuit still doesn't work right. So what I've done here is, this is the signal coming into the tank. I have this hooked up to my 1 kilohertz signal generator, which I use to test my mini VU meter pedals. And I've got my oscilloscope here to see what magnitude of signal that is coming in. So if I turn this on, I see about a 60 millivolt sine wave, 65 millivolts peak to peak coming in here. And when I turn it off, you can clearly hear the reverb. It has a nice long decay. So there's nothing wrong from here, actually nothing wrong with the tank all the way to the receiving end. The problem is on the sending end of the circuit somewhere. I'm just not getting the signal levels that I should be seeing. So a little bit more sleuthing to go here. Now I have my signal injector hooked up straight to the amp. It's supplying kilohertz sine wave straight into the amp as if it's a guitar. And I'm monitoring the signal that's supposed to be going into the reverb tank here. You can see quite a bit of noise on it. And if I go ahead and turn on the signal thing here, signal injector, you can see the signal, and it's kind of even the right magnitude of what it's supposed to be. But somehow it's not getting into the reverb tank. So I'm going to connect this to the tank and see what the signal looks like there. Okay, with the signal going into the reverb tank like it's supposed to. Turn on the signal injector. There's a little wiggle there. It's saying only about 5 millivolts, which is super weak. So compare that to about 60 that I saw before. It might be roughly the right range, but it seems like it should be stronger than that. Alright, this reverb issue took some real tracing to figure out. So there's a capacitor back here that sends the signal out to the reverb tank, and it's rated for 15 volts. It says 5 microfarads. And I got suspicious and tested the voltage across it, and it's more like 16 volts. Well, it's rated for 15, so I thought, well, maybe it's damaged. Now, I've got my signal injector here. Right now it's off, but if I turn it on, it sounds like that. You don't get much reverb. If I stick this capacitor, this is a 10 microfarad 35 volt cap, and it's really tight spot here, but I get all kinds of noise. If I can hold it there. Now flip the switch. Here's it with the cap. I can hear much more reverb with this cap in place there. So I think I've got a bad cap that feeds the reverb tank. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the power off here and replace that with a new cap. I'll tell you, that one was a beast to track down, but it works real well now. Yeah, there's some nice reverb. And that's only halfway up. Here's max. Yeah, that's reverb. Got that fixed. Alright, no reverb. Here's a 5 reverb. Definitely got some reverb there. Plenty. Wow, loads of reverb. We definitely fixed the reverb on this amp. Well, there you go. It was a capacitor that was bad. That was a beast to track that problem down, but we got it fixed. We've got some great heavy reverb now. Everything is sounding great.